He's the nut behind the wheel and behind the mic. This is Automotive ADHD with Matt West.
So before the break, I was talking a little bit about, I mentioned that I would talk about the best Porsche in the world. And, how it's unfortunately going away now. I mean, what's going on with that? Porsche, why are you doing that? Why do you tease us with cool cars that we all love and say, wow, this is awesome. We need more of these. And then you go, all right, we're canceling production. Yeah, everyone likes these too much. We got to cancel them. I don't know what's going on with that. So you may be familiar with the Porsche 911 Dakar. And Dakar, not as being like the car. No, it's Dakar Rally, like the big off-road rally. Yeah, that one. So the Porsche 911 Dakar, if you're unfamiliar, is a off-road focused 911. And I think that this is tremendously cool. I think that off-road focused sports cars are an untapped market. They have immense potential, and we ought to tap into that market more. And Porsche, they dipped their toe in it. They dipped their toe in that market and then said, yeah, we're done. Yeah, sorry. It was a cool car, but we're not going to sell any more of them. And the crazy thing is, it's not because they didn't sell. No, every single one of them that they've made is practically sold. They're just teasing us because they're Porsche, and they do that. And they take this car that's decently, it's still expensive for a 911, but they take a car like that, and this is an attainable car that you could buy. You have a good salary, but it's nothing crazy. It's no Pagani. It's no, anything like that. It's not some really high-end exotic. It's not a Bugatti, a Pagani, a Koenigsegg. It's none of those. It's a Porsche. A Porsche, and as crazy as some Porsches are, I mean, Porsches, they've been making a bazillion. Yes, a bazillion. That is the official number I checked, by the way. A bazillion Porsches, 911s, Caymans, Boxsters. They've basically been making one flavor or another of the slightly faster Volkswagen Beetle for, 80 years practically now. So, and they've been doing that. So, while Porsches are cool, while they're decently, nicely built cars, I don't think that at the end of the day, they're necessarily anything special. But if I do see a 911 Dakar driving around, I go, wow, look at that. And when I was at the Pikes Peak Hill Climb this last summer, and I was up there with Jimmy Ford, jimmyfordracing.com. Go check him out. By the way, he's got a great video up on his YouTube, a full recap of the race. You should check that out if you haven't. But anyway, I was up there at the hill climb, and the Porsche team was, I guess, just driving around in 911 Dakars, not racing the Dakar. They were just using it to shuttle people from this area to that area. At least that's what it looked like to me. They looked like official Porsche Colorado Springs vehicles. And anyway, so I thought that was really interesting that they're just using a couple of Dakars to mob around the hill climb area, to shuttle a driver here, send a team member over there, whatever, right? And that's the perfect use for a car like this, especially a nice windy mountain road like Pikes Peak, but one that also experiences insane conditions. Even if you're just a team member, you don't have a race car up there. You're battling ice, rain, snow, all sorts of crazy weather. The weather there changes every 5 seconds. If you've probably been, any state you can be in for the most part, a lot of people go, oh yeah, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, right? You've heard that phrase, and you've heard that phrase with insert your home state here at the back of it, right? Colorado, I do think it's a little more true here than in other places. Pikes Peak is literally that way. Pikes Peak is quite literally that way. It is absolutely schizophrenic with the weather. It is really nuts up there. 1 minute it's nice, the next minute it's snowing. After that, there's thunder and lightning, and then it's nice again, and then it snows again on you. And then there's some freezing rain while you're at it. So, it can be that way. So, shuttling your team around in a, all-wheel drive, off-road focused, lifted 911, it's the perfect tool. But Porsche here, Come on, Porsche. What are you doing? What are you doing? I feel all I do on this show is complain about cool cars that manufacturers won't sell us. That's too bad. That's too bad. I want to complain about cool cars that you will sell us, which is probably why you won't sell us the cool cars, because you sell the cool cars and then everyone complains about them. Toyota. Got to warranty those cars. After 80 miles an hour? Come on. I'm never letting that go. So anyway, but Porsche here has made, they're saying 2,500 911 Dakars. 2,500. And they told us granted, I will say this shouldn't come as a shock, and it's not a shock, but it is still equally disappointing. They said that this was coming at the very beginning. They told us they were going to make a limited run of these 911s, and so let me pull up the MSRP here for you real quick, because granted they're not necessarily the cheapest things in the world, and you could grab one for a crispy. Edmunds.com has one right now for $222,000. So granted, you're on the higher end for some of your Porsche stuff. You're definitely not at the highest end for Porsche stuff, but you're also not at you're definitely not at your entry-level Boxster or something, right? You're not there. But even then, $220,000, I think part of that's the issue here. You make it special edition from the onset, and then you put a really high price tag on it. $222,000 some dollars. I that's what you could get one now for. Now, granted, as soon as they're out of production, well, they are out of production. The last ones are rolling off the line, so you can expect those prices. I should clarify. You probably can't get one of those now for $222,000. Not with Porsche collectors. No, I guarantee it. Mark my words. As soon as the final one is sold off, they've built the final one, it's off there. As soon as that's in somebody's hands, there's going to be probably 2 or 3 of these that are going to pop up on Auto Trader or Cars and Bids or Bring a Trailer, whatever, for like $1 million. Starting price. Yeah, $1 million. $1 million reserve on a 911 with some off-road tires, and it's lifted. So, I mean, the thing is, Porsche, like I said, they do this. They tease us with nice things, and then they make them really expensive. And part of that expense is tough. So you made an off-road 911. Great. It's fun. In fact, it's probably the most fun you can have off the pavement ever, right? It's a really cool car. And it's fun to drive. It looks great still. And it's very unusual because you drive by and people are like, was that a lifted 911? Yeah, it was. And it's got you can have a roof rack and all these cool accessories with it. But it's really expensive. So when was the last time you took something that was, say, $250,000 and just bashed it around on some trails off-road? You probably haven't done that. I haven't done that. My Subaru was like $2,000, and I broke it. I blew the head gasket in a week. I did thrash that around off-road a little bit. But, $200 and let's just say even math, $250,000 for this car to go off-road it. And it's a special edition, so people know there's not going to be another one, which means it's going to get the collector hype, and nobody is going to drive it off-road. In fact, the only one that's probably been driven off-road was the press car that was making all the rounds and that did like the Nürburgring, and they cut through the middle of the Nürburgring, right? That was probably the only one that was actually earnestly driven off-road hard. And I'm here to say, no more. No more. We want off-road sports cars. I'm speaking for you. I'm sure if I'm this dead set on off-road sports cars, I'm just going to assume you are. And even if you're not, just go along with me on it, okay? Just go along with me on it. But, we need more of this. We need off-road sports cars that are not only, fun and cool, but actually affordable. Like, Porsche, what about this car earnestly makes it $250,000 compared to a base model 911. Yeah, you've got the suspension. Yeah, you've got some skid plates. Yeah, you've changed the geometry of the, control arms and some of that stuff a bit for the lift. But is that really $250,000? Is it? I don't know. Anyway, we need more cars like this. Porsche's not going to give it to us. I'm looking over at you, Toyota. I know you're not going to give it to us either. But anyway, well, we shall mourn the loss of the 911 Dakar. Anyway, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about Bugatti setting a world record that you didn't think about. That's right here on Automotive ADHD.